So, what do you think has changed the most in your business over the last few years, whether it be the marketing, operations, or anything like that? Because I know you keep evolving every year into this what you're doing, the fractional side. Hey,
Mhm.
what's up, everybody? This is Shawn Greenway with Brand Lift Marketing. We're back here for another episode. Got another great guest with me today. His name is Chris Johnson. He is a fractional CMO officer for multiple companies. So, welcome to the show, Chris.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. I appreciate you having me.
I appreciate you being here. Let's start with that first. Tell everybody a little bit about you and explain what a fractional CMO is.
Yeah, so as you said, I'm a fractional CMO. I do chief marketing officer type roles for a lot of different companies, and it's easier for them to pay me to kind of coordinate the chaos, so to speak, than it is for them to bring somebody on full time, take care of salary, benefits, all those types of things. So I become a much more cost-effective solution for them, and keep them moving in the right direction creatively.
Yeah, I think it's probably been about probably almost 6 years when I first met you and you were helping a big client here in Georgia.
That's right.
And that's when we started working together, it's been a great relationship since. So, um, for everybody hearing, what that is maybe for the first time, because there's a lot of companies that don't understand what a fractional CMO does. Can you go into like maybe a little bit more of the detail? Like if, let's say a company calls you today, what are you going to come in and look at and be able to offer them for your services? And then after you tell me that, let's talk a little bit about is there fulfillment on your side or you're just looking at the strategy and overall?
Yeah, great question. So if somebody comes to me for the first time, one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to sit down and have a really good conversation with them about, what are their goals? What are they wanting to get out of their business? Are they trying to increase sales? Are they trying to increase leads? Are they trying to, make things more efficient? What is it? So that's first and foremost, is looking at what their goals are. Secondly, assessing whether or not the services that myself and my team can bring to them is going to be something that's going to meet those goals. And the great part about what I do is that when I say my team, it's not just me. It's myself. It's the trusted partners that I have, like you guys, Sean. The team at Brandlift
Mhm.
is on my team and is someone that I know that I can bring alongside me. And that's part of what makes me good at what I do is because I'm able to connect my clients with amazing folks that can help them do what it is they need to do in the
Right.
best way possible.
Yeah. I think that term just came around probably I think the past 10 years. And a lot of people was like, they don't understand what it means. But at the same time, fractional meaning, I think you mentioned this in the beginning, is th- they don't necessarily have the money to bring on a full-time person who knows, six figures plus that could be or more.
Yep,
And it's just a way for them to come in. You give some of your time each week to that.
that's
So
right.
it's really helped us as well, like, because we're always there for you on fulfillment side, whether it be white gloved or, they're just, you straight up send them to us and then we work with you through that. So that's been a great relationship there. Um, I always like to ask this question to business owners like yourself is that what is something about running your business that most people don't see from the outside? Maybe like behind the scenes that maybe some of the tough parts. Because, we're being an agent, working with agencies like we both do, everybody thinks it's sexy, right? It's not always sexy at all. I
It
mean,
is
I
not.
wish it was. I mean, sometimes we get into the business thinking, oh yeah, man, set our own hours and this or that. And then it kind of halfway turns into kind of a job, but we love what we do, right?
Mhm.
So
That's right.
what's some behind the scenes tough stuff that the hurdles that you may have each week?
Yeah, I think just like with anything, one of the toughest people or one of the toughest things, which is also one of the most rewarding things, is just working with people.
Hmm.
Because, being a fractional CMO, you're working with a lot of times the other business owners, and you
Yeah.
got some really interesting personalities there. I think anyone that owns their own business and is entrepreneurial is probably a little bit deranged in one sense.
I would think so.
And so, sometimes having to tell people hard truths about what's going on in their company and what it's going to take to fix that, that can be extremely hard because sometimes the root of the problem is that business owner themselves. And
Mhm.
so helping to have those conversations with them and be able to say, man, you got to get out of your own way here and let's do it so that you can thrive because we're your biggest cheerleader here. We want you to do well. But sometimes we got to kick them in the pants and say, step to the side, let us get it done.
Yeah, yeah. And even with a full-blown agency like we are, we go through those same things too. I think our biggest struggle is once we make the sale, get them onboarded, they know the scope, and then trying to keep them to this scope because you're going to get into things 2, 3, 4 months down the road that are going to kind of go outside of the scope a little bit, and we bend with that, right? If
Sure.
it's something we know is like, okay, we can handle that, let's just do it. But then I think you said it, is that if you're not careful, they're never going to change. And the reason they come to you for sure is to change.
Yeah.
So just like with us, you have to become, you're their fractional CMO, but sometimes you're their coach, you're the, absolutely their strategic partner, and sometimes it has to be a kick in the pants. And we have had, unfortunately, but fortunately at the same time, we've had several clients where we had to pull them on a Zoom and say, look, we love working with you, but moving forward, we're going to need to be able to do this if we're
Yeah.
really going to get where we need to go. 9 times out of 10, they understand that. And like I tell my partners, like more business owners, especially whether it be man or woman, they respect that too. Because
Yeah.
really, I think the first time we ever met when we worked with the lady over in with the Beaufort area,
Hmm.
I told my partner Javier, is like the main thing that she wanted from us, and which she did, and you got with us too. She was buying into certainty,
Yeah.
and in order for us to have certainty, either one of us, me and you, is to be able to do what we know that we need to do. If you can't allow us to do these things, we can't back up that scope and that certainty, and then that leads to other things. I know, and we're not perfect by all means over here, but we've had times to where that snowballed over time to where, they would push back. It's like, no, we don't want that. Do this. But then that's when you have that conversation. It's like, well, that's good. But, these are the things that we do every day. And these are the things that work. We can
Yep.
implement some of that, but it's about going back and just having that good communication. And that was kind of the next part I wanted to ask you is that, um, because I'm always curious about other agencies and especially what you do, is from when you start talking to someone until you kind of close the deal, that sales cycle, what kind of communication do you have from the first call until after the onboarding call? And then how does the communication go from there? Because there's a lot of people that may be watching this that come through Clutch, Google, and everything else.
Yeah.
This will be some great information for them as well.
Yeah, I mean, high communication is really important early on because when you're first entering into a relationship, you got to build trust, with your client. They've got a need that they're coming to you to help them solve, and they think you can do it. And it's going to be important for you to show them that you can do that. And one of the best ways you can do that is by right up front being transparent about what you're thinking, what you're planning, what their
Mhm.
issues are, how you can help do those things, but then communicate really well.
Yeah.
When you're working with, business owners, sometimes they can be hard to get a hold of. And so showing
Yeah.
that you're persistent and being able to do that is going to be tremendously important as well. So you're figuring out how they communicate best. Is that going to be phone calls, text messages, emails? Um, Shoot, if they need you to do skywriting, what do you got to do to get a hold of them and show them that you're invested?
Yeah.
Um, and then just absolutely nailing it on the front end. And then
Hmm.
as you're getting into it, like I said a few minutes ago, making sure you understand what their needs are, because that's the most important thing here, not my goals. not your
Right.
goals, but
Yeah.
what the client's goals, because if you're not hitting those goals, you're not going to be successful. And sometimes that is showing them, this you're saying you want this, but you also need this. And so it's a both and. But if you're only focusing on what you can do and you're not focusing on what they actually think they need, you're going to end up missing, and it's not going to be a very successful relationship.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of the communication side, I'm glad you even brought that up to the channels, is, if we're working with someone, we find out, is it text, call, email? We use Slack. I know you do too. Slack is
Mhm.
really the best way for us operationally. If we bring it, it depends on the level of service for that client, right? If we got a SaaS software person that comes through and they just get the thing, we got 24-hour live chat through that system.
Yep.
If it is a what we call a growth plan client, like a lot of your clients are that work with us, they're going to get a Slack channel, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, VIP support. And that's important, because a lot of these, like you said, a lot of these business owners, especially if you get ones that business owners and the owner operator, it's hard.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to find that right communication channel and then go from there. Now, with the ones with, teams, still kind of the same effect, but like I said, it just depends on the service level of that.
Yep.
Well, I've got my notes over here, things that kind of wanted to ask you on this call. Um, I want to let's kind of stay in this realm for a minute, and then we're going to talk about AI because everybody wants to know about AI.
Yeah.
So, what do you think has changed the most in your business over the last few years, whether it be the marketing, operations, or anything like that? Because I know you keep evolving every year into this what you're doing, the fractional side.
hmm
What do you think has changed the most over the past few years with any of the marketing side, customers,
Yeah.
operations?
I think what you just said is it's AI. A lot of customers, they know that it's out there. They hear about it. They maybe play with Chat GPT or something like that, but
Yeah,
they don't understand what it can really do. I mean, they probably know it more as a glorified Google, and that's how they're using it,
yeah,
which is great. That's a great tool to use for that. But looking at how we can take AI and actually integrate it into someone's marketing and business processes to take them to the next level, to make them more efficient with their time, to bring down cost, drive up ROI, and just really be able to blow it out of the box. And so I think AI has been probably one of the biggest things that's changed and made a big difference for them.
yeah. And with AI, coming around the past few years, we've had it in our platform. We have a high level platform that we provide to our clients, or a lot of times, believe it or not, probably 70% of our discovery calls are people that found high level system. They tried to use it. They just don't know how to maximize it. They
hmm
come to us. But most people don't know since they've been around since 2019 and we got in that same year and started learning the system. Now we're, basically GHL experts in the industry, is that the AI has been working in there for years. It ain't just like this
Yep.
past year or two. So anything with, automations, anytime someone sees a possibly like a text that might come from you and your little system, it's probably because the AI pushed that
Sure.
out, automatically. Same way with workflows, campaigns. Um, we've now implemented AI voice agents to a
Mhm.
major franchise that are it's all over the United States. One of the franchise locations contacted me last month, and he told me that he eliminated his call center because the AI agent was working so well for him.
Yeah.
Which to that tune, he's now over 12,000 AI phone calls taken in this
Wow.
past.
That's awesome.
It's right at the past year now. The past year.
Well, I
That's
mean,
crazy.
AI has come in so far. I mean, from where it was even 5, 6 years ago. When you look at it now, the fact that I can get a phone call and I can carry on an extremely natural conversation,
Hmm.
and it doesn't sound like I'm talking to a robot. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm myself and you and probably some other people out there are in tune enough with it where you might be able to pick up on the fact that it's
Hmm.
an AI system. But even, I'll catch myself sometimes. I'll say, "Hey, am I talking to an AI agent?" And it'll be like, "Yeah, you are." But, I
Yeah.
can help you with everything you need. And it's the conversation is so natural
Yeah.
now. It's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
That's and to your point there is that yeah, we don't even try to hide it. We don't try to play it off like it's real because if someone does ask, is this a bot or is this AI? And they'll say this isn't, it'll say it's an AI specialist for ABC company
Yeah.
and we're here to help. How can I help you today? And 9 out of 10 times, most people are like, oh, cool. I just want, I want to be taken care of. So here's my problem. Can you get somebody to call me back? And then we have it prompted depending on the business to get their information. So whether it's a product company, service company, doesn't matter. It works really well in the service space, home service based industry, uh, because you got people sometimes that are calling in because something just happened that day. It's not like they're thinking, I think I want to get some plumbing done in 3 months or
Hmm.
roofing done in 3 months. It's because of today. So when
That's
they
right.
call, so what we found, and I think you've sent us some clients that were like this. When I talk on a discovery call each week now with clients, ask first one of the first things I ask them is how you taking their calls. They'll give me that round. It's like, well, what happens when you miss the call? They're like, oh, just they'll either say it goes to voicemail or it goes to a call center. And to me, either one of those is like, wow, okay, voicemail. That's you're just asking for them
Yeah.
to go call the next guy down the road because you can go look at all the numbers and they say it's about 80% of people won't leave voicemails. So a client will say, well, most of them leave voicemails. It's like, really? How do you know? Can you prove that? I don't go at it that aggressive, but it's like, here's the thing. If 80% don't leave a voicemail, that means you got all of those that you don't know. Like you might have missed 7 calls in the last hour. One left
Yep.
a voicemail. How do you know who to call back?
Well,
I mean,
and a lot of
hopefully you
those,
call back the number, but you
I
know what
said
I'm
a lot of
saying?
those folks, they're going to go with the first person they can get a hold of.
That's it.
And so if you've got an AI agent that is able to answer their questions, get their appointment scheduled, you're going to get so many more customers than you are with somebody who's having to leave a voicemail and you're having to call them back the
Yeah.
next day because they've already talked to somebody by the time you get back to them.
Yeah. One of the clients that you sent us, I don't know how long ago it was, maybe a year or two ago, um, we were able to set up voice call or AI voice call. And when I say that, like anybody that's watching, I'm not trying to say let it take all your calls, not at all. Now, there are
No.
some cases when people call and they're like, hey, I'm a one-man show. I'm in the ditch doing sewage. Let it take it. And then when it gets done, it's texts him the information. You got it. We do it. Most cases, I tell them when I'm on the call is like, look, let it take your overflow calls and
Hmm.
your nights and weekends. If you do that, you're going to increase your leads, conversions, all of that. Like I said before, we don't try to act like it's not an AI, but like you said, they've gotten so good. So if someone calls in, it misses like whatever, let's call it 3 rings. After 3 rings, goes to the voice AI agent, talks to them, gets the information, and then as soon as that's over, our system then automatically sends an email to the team with an AI voice call summary. It kind of gives a summary of like, hey, they called in about this, or this. They had concerns about this. Please call them. See the full transcript. But we also have, as you know, we can also fire off automations after that call too.
Yeah.
So typically on this one, we're talking about that franchise location. Once that call is over, no matter how the call went, whether it was great call, bad call, whatever, as soon as it's over, we have it triggered to send a text to that person. It says, thank you for calling ABC
Yep.
company. Uh, we have the information over to our team. We're going to be calling you soon. Please watch out for the call. That way you cover bases twice.
That's right.
They were able to talk to something or someone, and then when they got off to shoot that text, just like me, I would then, here in the South, we call it holding them at bay. We used to go hog hunting all the time, and we had the dogs that would keep the hogs at bay.
Yep.
People are going to laugh when they watch this show. but it's keeping them at bay because if I call someone, talk to that, then got an immediate text, be like, oh, great. Okay. And then I'm waiting now. Now that's where you and I come in and we have to teach that team is like, look, you're going to get these emails and these texts that we send you. You got to then get back on them quick,
That's
you
right.
know, within 5 minutes or it lowers the chance every single minute. So,
Yeah.
but
Speed to
that
lead.
comes in just with some training and coaching on that side. And I know you've done that part before. Um, so the AI, like you said, AI is the biggest thing right now. What we found, Chris, is that there's a lot of people that claim that they're using AI, but they're afraid to say at what level they're using it. Like you said, me included, because I'm not as technical as my team, I use ChatGPT myself as my search engine. Sometimes I don't even go to Google anymore. Just
Right.
da da da. That's big. And if you've heard what's coming, and I think they've seen some of them out there in the wild on ChatGPT, ads. Ads is going to be, I wouldn't say game changer, but it's going to add another thing to the mix here. So when people like me and you are on ChatGPT using it, and like all these other people that are even casually using it, depending on what plan they're on, because from what I heard, it's only going to be on certain plans. If you get the big 200 a month plan, you're not going to see ads, but
Right.
it's the
Right.
lower ones. That's huge. We've already, and we've, al- and I, This is something I was going to tell you on the call too. So, we've already prepared for that. So when you
Mhm.
get some of your clients and they're talking about, the LLM models of that, not only are we equipped to do the ads, but we're also equipped for the SEO side to be able to get the better SEO so that it is, kind of basically talking to Google. So if, because their websites now need to be better, the regular website needs to be better trained with the right
Yeah.
keywords
You're
yeah.
saying it exactly what I was just thinking. And it's, because so many people are using AI now as their search engine.
Hmm.
I mean, if you go into ChatGPT right now and ask it whatever question, okay, it's going to give you the results. But if you look over to the side, it's going to show you the sources it's pulling its information from.
Yeah.
So that right there, just like any other search engine, you need to look at where that AI system is pulling its information from, and then
Mhm.
you as a business have got to be in those places. And
Yeah.
so that's where what brand lift does, like with SEO and stuff like that, that's hugely important because they're going to know these are the spots we've got to get you because
Yeah.
that's where these systems are looking. And that's what's going to get them prepared not only to be showing up on Google, but when people are using ChatGPT or Grok or whatever,
Yeah. All
they're
of
going
it.
to be in those places too.
Yeah. And it's important, like the next time you're talking to your clients is going through those steps. There's SEO for Google side, and there's a SEO for the, you know, language models, LLM, Chat GPTs, all those other ones. Like one of our last clients that came in within the past month, I always ask people when they first get on, is like, how'd you find us? A lot of times it's through clutch.co, which is a big site to find big agencies. uh, or they just Google it, which, both of those are our good SEO play that we do. And then lately people said, oh, ChatGPT. And it's
Hmm.
because our guy in the background has really put in the work on the ChatGPT side so that when they start looking at agencies, we pop up. So
Yeah.
same thing for your clients. So keep that in mind on your side is that that's important. And then I'm curious to see how the ads side of things are going to roll out really well. I know we're going to be running ads ourselves on there, because anybody that's using AI and ChatGPT, they're they're potentially going to be clients of ours and clients of yours because of
That's
that.
right.
So that's going to be a real thing. I know that I had a call the other day and the guy was asking me about AI video. I was like, well, we use it some within inside of our agency, but we're not big into trying to make all the AI video stuff yet because it's gotten really good. Like if you go to VO3, Sora, all those, it's
Yep.
really good. Right now, the limitations I see is the time. Like I know one of them was like 8 seconds. Eventually, they're going to have 30 seconds, and then hopefully beyond.
Right.
That could be a year away or more. Um, But the main thing without, because I told them without getting distracted on wanting AI video is like we need to evaluate your current business and your marketing. We talk, and you've heard us talk about this. We always look at it as the leaky bucket. So
Yeah,
if you can, people can think about the old school pail buckets with a little handle there, is imagine it having different holes in it. And look, I've talked to hundreds of businesses in the past 7 years, and not one of them didn't have some holes. Okay, and we all got holes. There's probably some holes in ours, but we actively try to look for those holes. A
that's
lot of
right.
companies don't. So let's look at your bucket. Where's the holes? How do we plug those holes? Because we also get these calls, Chris, each week to where someone will call in and they're talking about, they want to throw two, three, $4,000 of ad spend and just get more leads. It's like, well, you can do that, but look at our bucket here that you got all those holes. Doesn't mean those holes are going to fill. As a matter of fact, when you start pouring more in the top, it's going to come out quicker because it's going to overflow over the top. So
That's right.
before you have to spend all that money, let's spend some money on plugging the holes. Automations, follow-ups, the right website
That's right.
that's that's more attractive now for the crawls from ChatGPT and other LLM sources. SEO, you got it, all the right keywords, all of those things, the right call to actions. You probably see it every day too. Every time I go onto a website, like if I get a discovery call, I'll go ahead and check out their website. And it's easy to identify on a website if it's doesn't have the right things set up, meaning that
Yeah,
one I looked at the other day, there was no clear call to actions right on the hero spot at the top. I'm like, how do they expect anybody to get any business? So, and you'll agree, the way when I look at stuff like that, great call to action right out of the gate. It's got to be in the hero section. Like you got to kind of tell them that you have the solution to their pain.
that's
Have
right.
a call to action. Have the phone, whether that's a discovery call, maybe a phone number at the top right, and then or the top right if you're facing it, and then the bottom right if you're facing the website, a chat widget. Have three different chances for them to say, okay, this is easy, boom, right? And it's I call it like an easy button. And those chats, like that chat widget I was talking about, as soon as they put their name, number, email, and maybe they got a question, hit submit, we can turn that into then an AI agent bot that starts communicating, conversating with that potential client. And now the team is still over here doing what they need to do. The bots, the agent, we like to call them agents, are talking to that client. And now you're getting them closer to a sale. So all of these things happen with AI now, and it's gotten even better. What have you implemented over the past few months, AI wise, in your like any of your outreach to get your new clients or anything internally? What are you using? Maybe share a tool with people on the show here that you're using.
Yeah, I mean, so I think one of the tools that you guys have built for me and my clients before, right there through the high level system, is the ability to have that chatbot stuff going on, and that's made a huge impact just in being able to secure more lead appointments, because you know we're literally getting them to schedule their own appointment right through that system.
Yeah.
And so that has just increased lead volume tremendously, because they call in or whatever, we get their number, we get that chatbot, start texting them,
Hmm.
and it dumps them into a calendar. The customer thinks they're in charge,
Yeah.
which is awesome because they get to pick the day and time
That's
that
what they
works
want.
best for them.
Yeah.
And then boom, that shoots right over to our team. And we've got that scheduled on the calendar for them. So that has been one of the most effective tools because customers, like I said, the first one they talk to or the first one they can schedule an appointment with is probably the one that they're going to buy from.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
being able to do that has been tremendously
Yeah.
helpful.
Yeah. In a lot of industries, yeah, it's like that. Maybe the first one that's who they're going to do business with. With the calendar side, that's important on the with the kind of the texting agent going back and forth allows that person to book if they need to, like I say, depending on the industry. And ultimately, there's a lot of people still don't know too, is that especially with a high level system, you can replace Calendly in the ones
Yeah.
that are like that. So that way they can get away from that charge of having to spend for Calendly, have it within one spot, and then that one with the calendars at a high level is just going to sync with their Google and or Outlook
Yep.
calendar to make it easy. And same as like it does Calendly, it can be set up to send out those reminders,
Yeah.
24 hours before, the hour before, right? To make sure that they're going to increase the chances of them getting on a call because I see that in a lot of the groups. You've probably seen them too. Is that I've seen guys ask, how do I increase my show up rate? Right?
Yep.
And the easiest fix is like, okay, are you sending the day before, the hour before? I know some people that even aggressively send one even 10 minutes before too, like bump, bump, bump.
Yep.
And that's going to increase it for sure. And the second part to that is don't allow any bookings past 2 weeks out.
That's
I mean,
right.
if you let somebody book in April right now, good luck.
Yeah. They're not going to be there.
No. So,
They're
so,
going to
t-
have a
so
kid's
two
ball game
weeks.
or something, and they're not going to be, something else is going to come on that calendar. And, yeah, and to what you were saying about, being able to replace Calendly and things like that, you can add, there are some great cost-effective tools out there. If you're out there and you're really on a really tight budget, we can suggest some tools
Hmm.
that can help you, bridge the gap for a time.
Yeah.
But I will tell you the companies that piecemeal it and try to plug all these free things in and try to make them work together, you can limp along for a little bit and it can do okay, but it is not going to be anything close to as effective as a cohesive professional system like what BrandLift, offers with your services. It is night and day difference in the quality, and it's going to cost a little bit more, but you will make that money back in ROI hands down.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, so I mean, but if you're not in the position to be able to say, hey, I can commit to to a partner like BrandLift or somebody like that, to help me right now. And if you're not, we'll tell you that. We'll say, hey, we're not quite there yet, but we want to get you there. And so we can suggest some of those tools to help get you there in the short term, so that you can grow. We can really help you knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I think you said it well about the time thing for me is if let's just say a business owner, this an owner operator gets with you and we use a round number. If they think they're worth $100 an hour, and if it's even more what their worth is for the time, this makes it even better. $100 an hour. So I've heard people talk about like 40, 50, 60 hours trying to figure out systems like that. 40 hours, that's $4,000 that they've missed out on, so to
That's
speak, when they could have just turned right around, went to professional to begin with. They build it while they're still selling. And it's tough too. This kind of goes back to the first of the call, is it's tough too when you're trying to get an owner or an operator of the business kind of on the same track so you can do what you need to do, is once they realize that, oh, wow, we missed out. We should have never have spent 100 hours trying to put that together when these guys could. And then once we get it put together and they start seeing some results, and sometimes they want to fall right back into wanting to get back in there and try to go with it and build it. And they can because like what we have over here, we've got kind of two different options. We do the high level build outs as option one. We can do the build out, because it's going to be about 80% close to what they need because sometimes they don't know what they don't need. So
right.
we can do their build out. And then the second option is do the build out and then have a monthly fee going forward to where that build out can evolve over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 months. Plus, they have a team that's keeping it running the right way because all they need to do is go and make them more money. Like, and it all depends on, the kind of business, whether if it's a lawn care service, that's a little bit different and get, involvement than an attorney's office, right? Like even sometimes because of money wise. So with an attorney's office, there's a lot of things going on with inside of their high level system. Lawn
Hmm.
care service, not that big of a stretch, right? You got maybe some calendars, some follow-ups, workflows, some newsletters, different things like that. So the engagement's a little bit different from month to month, but either one of those is important. That lawn care, do you want to have to keep fooling with that, Mr. Lawn Care? Attorney, do you want to have your team try to learn all of this? Keep doing it? Because when the attorney, I don't know, last guy I talked to, he said, like in their injury cases, they average about 15 to 20,000 a for a suit or whatever. It's like
Yep.
it's a no-brainer. If you're gonna usually pay X amount to us this month, each and every month to let us deal with that, you go deal with that. And if they get a DUI, uh, close a DUI, and that's like a million plus. Lawn
Well,
care, lawn care, same thing, but lower costs.
one of my clients is a lawn care company, and literally just had the conversation with him 2 days ago, as we're talking about, trying to scale his company, and he looked at me and he said, I don't have time to mess with this stuff. He says, I want to be out there with my guys, mowing grass, meeting customers, keeping things going. And I said, that's exactly right. That's exactly why you need someone that can help you manage, this aspect of the business and keep you upright,
Yeah,
keep you moving in the right direction. So
yeah, yeah.
he recognized it. And that's huge.
And that, like you said, I mean, that's from both ends of the spectrum. Lawn care, even when I say lawn care, there's a lot of big ones, but if it's a one truck, he's got three men, yeah, it's important. He needs somebody doing it. If it's a major, law firm that's got 50 employees, same thing. Neither one of them should be having to slow down because even though they might can get in and do some things, the business that we're in, Chris, this changes each month.
Yep.
Even in the high level system, either they add a new feature or they change stuff in there. There's a different way to do it. Just all
Hmm.
this and then all the AI that you can put with that. So all that combined is, I think we agree is that if anyone is listening and thinking about, coming and working with us, is that it's important to have the right team to be able to build the systems out and run them for you so you can go make more income. Last question I got for you here for the show is I got two of them, but let me just pick the
Here
one.
you go. Pick your best one.
Um, if it's another, and this is kind of going to what we're talking about, if it's another small business owner, um, what should, this is someone asked us before, what should I focus on first and what would you tell them? Like if you had a brand new call today, somebody found you because they talked to Susie and Susie referred you over, what would you tell them that they should focus on first as it comes to marketing and systems?
Yeah. So the first thing is we want to look at how you're getting your business today. Like, how are people finding out about you? And let's go ahead and like let's blow that up. Okay.
Yeah.
Not blow it up, destroy it. Let's blow it up, like make it bigger
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and take what you do well and make it even better.
Better.
Um, and then and then let's take a minute and let's step back and find what your holes are in that bucket that you were talking about. And let's figure out how we can then step back and start plugging those holes. But um, you know, very first thing is going to be let's look at how you're getting your customers, what you're already doing well. We're going to do an assessment. Shawn, you guys have helped us with this a number of times. Going in and just doing an overall marketing assessment, looking at the website, looking at
Yeah.
social media, all things, and just kind of saying, let's get a big picture idea of what's going on. And then let's take what you're doing well. Let's throw some rocket fuel on that and
Mhm.
and make it better and more efficient. And then let's work to plug those holes and really get you to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of times we'll run an SEO report in the background too for first talking to someone. And that tells us a lot. I know you get to see those reports as well. So doing assessments, that is the way. So anybody that's listening, sometimes, we have big companies come to us, we have small ones. But it's just important to talk to someone outside of the business that you own, because even if you've got some people in your business that maybe like you call your marketing girl or guy, um, sometimes they only know what they only know. Like
Hmm.
we've worked with companies, big companies that had their marketing director was a college grad, you know, and but they only taught her stuff that was probably irrelevant because it was 20 years ago stuff. And because you have to keep up with all this. So that's very important when someone, the first thing they need to do, get with someone like Chris or myself. Let's go through it and find those holes. And then once we find those holes, it's a lot easier to work with. So, Chris, I want to thank you again for being on my show. I'm going to bring you back because, there's a lot more that I want to talk about. We'll go a little bit deeper next time in
Absolutely.
automations and how automations and AI agents can really transform their business. So, thank you for being with us, Chris.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate that. Stay tuned next for the next episode, guys, and we'll see you soon.